Yeah, we got some good things happening in our state. We've got some good things happening in our country. People are waking up to liberty. People are waking up to freedom again. This is great. I'm involved with Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and Constitutionalists. And we all agree the government has become too big and too powerful. And we're going to take it back.
Yeah.
I have many people ask me why I'm running for office. I could tell you how the Federal Reserve is borrowing $275 a month from each and every one of you with no intention of ever paying it back. And you'll see that at the ticket counter when you buy merchandise through higher prices. Or I could tell you about my own experiences in corruption in government. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to tell you a story about why I'm running for office. Many years ago when I served in the United States Armed Forces overseas, I was in the Philippines. And I've been to the Philippines many times, and their government kept becoming more powerful, and more powerful. And the people became smaller and smaller and smaller. And what I noticed over time was the government took control of the energy markets. They took control of the media. They took control of people's private lives. They started telling people what they could and they couldn't do, even if it didn't affect the government, even if it didn't affect other people. You know, as long as you're not doing anything that hurts another person or damages their property, you should be free to live your life in happiness. That is my personal view. Well, yes, absolutely. Hey, I don't smoke pot. I've got a heavier drug than that. Mine's freedom. I'm all about freedom. When I was in the Philippines, after their society had deteriorated over about a 3-year period, this is a year before they were plunged into civil war. I was going out. I was a young man, and I drank a lot back then. I don't drink anymore, but it was a choice I made. I don't care if other people drink. It's not my life. Live your life the way you want. You know, I could care less. But I live my life because each of us wake up every day and we act in our own self-interest. And that's the one thing government has forgotten. They act in their own self-interest too. Don't think they don't. Every one of those politicians are acting in their own self-interest. I'm going to act in my own self-interest too. And my own self-interest is, I've seen what a totalitarian government's like. And I can't tolerate it. I can't tolerate it for you. I can't tolerate it for me. And I can't tolerate it for our children and our grandchildren and the children that come after that. This has to stop. The government has got to quit taking people and basically putting us in slavery. That's what they're doing. They're putting, every time they pass a new law, we put another shackle on our ankles. Every time another bill goes through that shifts the burden of proof against the American people or the people of Texas, we put another shackle on our ankles. And they talk us into it. They tell us, hey, we're going to make things great, just like they did in the Philippines. The Philippines deteriorated so badly. I was there on leave in the U.S. Armed Forces, and this is what changed my whole philosophy on government. I was actually getting ready to go out to a club dancing. I had a hotel, and I got all cleaned up. It's probably about 9 o'clock at night. I'm heading out to the bar. I'm a single guy. I'm going to go dance and have a few drinks, you know, like normal single people do. Right? I get down close to the club I'm going to. A young woman walks up to me, and she's got a baby on her shoulder, wrapped in a blanket. And she asked me, can I have some money to feed my child? I was raised that you're supposed to take care of people less fortunate than yourself. And the strong are supposed to take care of the weak. That's the way I was raised. And, thank you. And so I took $50 out of my wallet, handed it to her, and said, here you go. That was probably about a month's wages, maybe 2 months' wages in the Philippines at the time. So it was a significant amount of money. And she turned to walk off. When she turned to walk off, I saw that the baby's face was blue. The baby was dead. It had been dead for some time. I was shocked. I was shocked. Even till today, it still shocks me to think about these events. I watched this young lady, and I was just standing there in awe. I watched this young lady walk one block down the road. Right? She's stopped by 2 policemen, 2 Filipino policemen. They stop her, and I'm watching this. They question her for about 3 minutes. They take the $50 that I just gave her, and put it in their pocket, and she turned around and walked off. They didn't even have the common courtesy to help her with that dead child. That is how far society can deteriorate when you are under a tyrannical government. And the problem today is our federal government is too strong. They have too much control, and they have overstepped the bounds of the Constitution of the United States of America. For anybody, amen, brother, anybody that has read the Constitution knows the Constitution says Congress shall not pass laws. These do not limit your rights. It limits government. Government is not allowed to do these things. So, what we're going to have to do, there's an amendment in the Constitution called the 10th Amendment. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. It basically says all rights not bestowed in the Constitution are reserved for the states and the people. And when I run for office, I plan to utilize the 10th Amendment. We're going to push the federal government back off the state of Texas. We're going to make sure that they remain constitutionally valid. The war on drugs through the federal government needs to end. It is unconstitutional. Limiting of drugs are reserved explicitly for states' rights. The war on drugs through the federal government should never happen to begin with. And I think we can all agree it is a dismal failure. So, in closing, I'd just like to say thank you. I hope you guys get out, get motivated. We're at a very critical time in our country and in our state. And Texas, I believe, is going to lead the way in turning the tide, getting liberty and freedom restored back in the order to the people. But I believe it's going to take real people running for office, not career politicians, not people that are trying to line their pockets with money. We've got to have people that have a heart, and we've got to have people that have a soul. If they're doing it for their own personal gains, they're in it for the wrong business. I pledge to you that if I get elected, I will make you proud. I will bring liberty and freedom back to this community, back to this state, and if we lead the way, hopefully back to this country. Thank you.